Hello, Spaceholder training team.
Hello.
I
Hello, Nicole.
Hi.
hello. I feel joy to be here with you and to be recording this so that we can each send it out and let more people in the world know about this incredible space that is about to start. And so what I want is for each of you, and I think Dora, will you begin to tell the legend of how this space came about? Maybe a little backstory, a little legend, and then pass it to someone else. As the story unfolds, I think more and more people join. So with this,
Yeah.
the legend of the weaving of this space. Yeah,
Okay.
go.
Yeah, thank you. So I know that this thing was cooking for Manuela and for Celine, and you were there in the beginning, and Janet and Habet and all these people came together in the beginning because all of them, it was burning for them to do something like that, to hold the space for training space holders. And I remember that for me, I was traveling in Central America in an island called Ometepe, and it's this magical island that all these magical people from all over the world, they come there, and it's shaped like an infinity symbol. And so people go around there on this island, and you meet them all the time, and everyone are yoga teachers or cacao ceremonies, space holders, voice activation, tantra, and some possibility managers even I met there on the island. And so every, like, a lot of people are holding space, and the people that come there, a lot of them have that, that wish in their heart to hold space. They come to learn that. And and so I met so many of these people, and then, like, my head was like, okay, I learned so much from possibility management, so many great distinction, that I want to bring that to these people. And I talked to them, and there was a connection created, and I felt the call to create that space. And then I said, gosh, I don't know how to do it. I need a team. And yeah, I still don't know how to do it, but now I have a team. So oh, yeah, that's my legend.
Okay.
So then how did it go? Who's next in this storytelling? Passing
I
the
can
baton.
I can go next.
Yeah,
Well,
go.
for me it was I connected with Dor when he put his first message out, because I had this wave of, like, he put out this call of like, hey, I want to do this, who's on my team? And I had fear, and I felt fear, and I felt also a lot of anger, because I had been experiencing a very similar context, especially in terms of all these different um, modalities or practices that are out there, whether it's psychotherapy, which is very mental, or yoga, which is very physical, and like they touch on all these different bodies. But something that I feel misses so much is just the way of how we can connect with our emotional and our feeling body and put words to it. And me having dived like head into the TM context and absolutely loving it, coming out and speaking with people that had no idea about the context was so challenging. And so I really felt this urge where I was like, I want to build a bridge. I want to create more distinctions that are kind of more this bridge of people who are already holding amazing spaces, but are missing this feelings work and this emotional layer of how we can bridge our five bodies more together and create just more holistic spaces in general that touch our different layers and our different perspectives, which are so needed. In our culture, we're so like micro pinpointed on one thing, on one aspect. And so yeah, how can we use feelings work to create more holistic, beautiful spaces where also all parts of us can shine and be accepted? So yeah, when Dorv sent out that message, I sent him a message straight away, and I was like, yes, I'm on your team. And that's my, I guess that's my little part of the legend. And so yeah, that's for me also what I want to put out and bring, is to create these spaces where we feel empowered to tap into the realm of our feelings and our emotions and see what's possible for ourselves from our unique expression and our spark, and give tools that weave and fit people's own spark. It's not like this is the way you hold space. It's like, okay, you're a yoga teacher. Here's a bag of tools to just make your space fly even further.
Yes, awesome.
Yes.
And I'm just going to pause for a second with the legend part. Dor, will you say something about where you are in the world, and you too, Celine, and then and I'm in Western Canada, just so people know that. Dor?
Yeah, we have a worldwide team, right? I'm in
Yes.
Switzerland right now, and I'm sometimes in the land called Israel, and sometimes I'm in other lands, and I'm a next culture nomad. So I don't know what, once people see it, I might be somewhere else already.
Yeah, me too. And you, Celine, where are you?
I'm
Usually.
currently in France, but I'm also a nomad. So next week I could be in Spain or Portugal
And where
or
did you start out?
oh, oof. I was born in Hong Kong in China, but my parents are European, so I've always moved a lot. But I did spend quite some time in Holland and France, I would say, and Spain. So yeah,
Wow,
the
cool.
west side of Europe mostly, but
Yeah. And
you
then I'm going to get back to the storyline, which then I think, Manuela, you became part of what then became really the space holding three cell for this
Mm.
project.
Yeah, my name is Manuela. I'm currently in Germany, but I'll be going traveling soon too, so I might be somewhere else next week. Anyway, when Dor put out the call, it immediately felt very relevant to me because I have already spent 3 years of my life visiting different communities, and I've spent 2 years of my life living in one. And I know that over 80% of new communities projects fail in the first few years. And that has a reason, because we haven't learned as children how to communicate and how to hold space for our own feelings, how to feel even. And yeah, we've even repressed our feelings because we were told that we were wrong to feel. And in my view, learning to feel is one of the key components in order to learn how to live together. And building communities, learning how to live together is a key that the world needs in order to heal. And that's why the spaceholder training is seems so relevant for me, because here we can practice how to hold space for ourselves, for our own transformation, and for the transformation of other people, and for our relationships. And in that in that context also, we can
And this,
become space holders of new communities of the future.
yeah, yeah, and this from what I've heard from you, what this you really, as a three cell, you ended up going through this potentially like breakup territory, and you're still together. So tell me about how someone say something about how that became possible.
Well, we called somebody to support us, a wonderful, let's say, space holder. And what happened was that we made a commitment to to use all of our experiences to create more insight. Let's say to allow a flower to grow out of the mud. That's what I took with me to make that commitment. That was the key.
Awesome. Cool. And then in terms of geography, Maura, I know that you are right now in your car on the same continent as I am on. And so, yeah, how are you here? What are you doing here?
Yes, thank you. So I am Mara and I am in Boston, or heading to Boston, as you can see. And what I'm doing here is I'm really taking a stand for my own feelings and doing this work has really transformed me and the way I relate to myself and to relate to others and the world around me. And conscious feeling has become so important to me because it's created such a depth in the spaces that I'm now in and the connections and communication I'm able to have with other beings. And so I really feel called to be a part of this space and to grow this space and to bring it to other people, because there's so much magic here, and magic is developed through conscious feeling and through allowing yourself to really kind of, I really like what Manuela said of like a flower coming from the mud is kind of how I feel myself in going from, you know, this modern culture of really numbing out to now being conscious of how I'm feeling and it being messy, and that's okay, and loving the mess, and yeah, and letting myself roar and being heard. And I want others to be heard, and I want others to roar too, and I'm just full on supporting that. So I'm here for it, and I'm excited.
Cool.
I
Thank you.
I want to
Oh,
share quickly another little legend that now both, so Manuela and you, Mara, have shared about the flower coming from the mud. And these last three, the lotus flower has always been something that I'm drawn to, but it's the lotus flower that grows from the mud. And my background is also in design and creating physical spaces. And I recently, the last 2 weeks, have been dreaming up this little meditation hut pod space, not only for meditation, but also for reflection or having a conversation with 2, 3, or 4 people in that space and really connecting to yourself, and actually creating that in the shape of a lotus flower that comes out of the mud and building that in my garden. So
wow.
it's
Nice.
nice that you share that, because
Wow.
it's really aligned, and it's just like all these signs have been echo has been at work with that. So thank you. The magic is already here.
Yes. And will each of you just say two or three, give 2 or 3 answers about this? Like, what other game worlds have you played in? Because this lotus flower, reminds me, I played for 7, 8, 9 years in a very, very radical uh, Raja Kriya yoga training world. And I've also played in ecstatic dance worlds and theater worlds. And I gave birth to and raised 4 children. And so
Mm.
I've played in the unschooling world, in the home birth world, in the natural medicine world, in the permaculture world since the early 90s. Somebody else, like, give a list of worlds that you've played in,
Nicole,
where
would
you
you just
bring
also
tools
share?
from them.
Would you just share before also how did you how did you came to the space? What's the
Oh,
legend?
cool. Yes.
Yeah.
The legend is, when I saw your call door, I was like, oh, I can't remember if I answered an actual message. Maybe I wrote one and didn't send it, but I was keeping an eye out. I had a lot of uncertainty about how much I could be online, because I am often at projects that are completely off grid, and getting to electricity, getting to internet access is not so easy for me these days. And so I was waiting to see what would happen, so on your team and so a go for this project. And then you reached out while you and Celine and Manuela were in this bumpy patch. You reached out to me and asked if I would hold space with you, and you let me know it's happening on this time, on this day. And wonder of wonder, miracle of miracles, it was a day and a time that would be, I knew I could make it work. So I said yes. And then you all came through the muddy patch together as lotus flowers. And here we are. And before recording, just so people watching will know, before recording, we had a weaving together call. And so Mara and I are both new to this, what's now a 5-cell, which just turns me on, because another game world I've played in is the sacred geometry game world. And so the 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so it's growing, and we're really here to find out, or as something that will help us find out who the next group of people in this Fibonacci sequence are. So if you think you're one and you're watching, check out the show notes to this video recording and you can weave yourself in. Thank you, team.
Thank you.
You.
Goodbye for now.